Welcome everyone to this lesson of Unity scripting. We'll do two major things in this, two very basic but major things on our objects which are being used in this basic game. One is we will change the color through scripting of an object. We'll learn how to change um, color of any object to any color we like through scripting. The second thing is how to move forward or reverse any object through scripting also. So for that, the idea is to create a terrain first, and you do that this way. You create first of all a game object, which is a terrain. Go to create a terrain, and give it a size. The overview, let me give you. I'll create a terrain, and then I'll give it a texture. I'll modify the texture such as I can raise the heights to simulate mountains, and then within those mountains I'll uh, insert some water, and then I'll create a cube shape, and I'll assume that it's boat. You could also import a 3D Studio Max or a Maya model, and which is a proper boat into Unity, and then apply the same scripts on those. But for the sake of simplicity, I'll just create a cube, and then we'll apply the scripts on that cube, which we will call as boat. And first of all, yeah, again terrain, and then I'll modify the terrain to simulate mountains. Then I'll insert water, and then I'll create cube. Then I'll apply scripts on that cube, which will be my boat. So first of all, let me just give it a proper size of this terrain. I don't want it too big because when I zoom in or zoom out, I have to do a lot of zoom in or zoom out work, which I don't want. Just give it like 100, lower resolution. Excuse me. Yeah, okay. So that does it. So this is my main camera, my terrain, and it looks like it's been resized. Yeah. So I can zoom out and zoom in very easily. Okay, I need to now give some texture to my terrain so that it looks um, like a grassy or sandy. If you don't have these textures, you could go right click over here on your assets, import package, and you import terrain assets. Go to terrain assets and import all. But I assume you've done, most of you done, whoever is participating in my class have done this already. You could import, and you could then see everything over here. So let me do the step again. With terrain, click on the texture, edit textures, add texture, select, and select anything like grassy or Russian rock, whatever. Like this looks like sandy. So yeah, let me click this. So I see sandy texture over here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paste some height using these two tools, and then I'm going to smooth them out. Let me increase my brush size. Now this is what I'm doing. I'm painting some height over here. So this is where I'm going to add my water with this brush size, and when I zoom in, I can see it's not too much. The height is not too much. So let me just increase the heights of these things. This sand, which looks like more of a desert, not just mountains. So I'll keep clicking over here and shake my mouse a little bit so that it simulates like a peak. This is how I'm going to do this. Okay, and I have something else over here also, and then I can smooth smooth this out. So this is my smooth tool, just to make it a little bit more smoother. Okay, like a pond I have here now. The texture is ready for a pond. So the next thing I'm going to do is search for water and drag and drop water over here. If you don't see water, then you right click here, import package, and import water basic. I've got water basic right now, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to drag and drop this here. So I've got my water here. The next thing I'm going to do is change its shape to plane. Right now it's circular. I can have many shapes. I have plane. So let me select plane, and I'm gonna press R to enlarge it. Move it a little back and a little up. So now it looks like a proper water in certain area with some mountains. So I can put in boat, etc. over here. So this is what. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do here now is add a cube here. Create other cube. Okay, here it is. Now when I press F, I can focus in and go directly where it is. So it zooms in and shows me the exact size, the exact location of the place where this thing is located. Now let me give it the proper name to this guy. Wow, I deleted this. Okay, sorry. Let's create this again and name it boat. And give it the size about 2 wide, 3 tall, and this is longer, how long it should be. This is my boat, and I'd like to make sure it is somewhere on top of the water, just not sinking in, but just on top of the water. And make sure when I click this, there's something called rigid body. So now I need to give it a rigid body, so it just does not just slice the mountains and goes inside. So it's not something that, it's not a transparent object, it has a body. So I need to give it a physics material called rigid body. How do I do this? Go to component physics, make sure you've selected the boat, and then click on rigid body. So now this boat will have a rigid body. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to disable use gravity, and I enable its kinematics. So this is not entirely necessary, but it's good if you give it its kinematics. And now to move this thing, the key is to use this drag and angular drag. So let me do this. I am going to do 0.02 to this and 0.1 to the angular drag. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder called my scripts to this guy in my assets folder, in my scripts folder. So I'll see my scripts under scripts. So here is where I'll create the script to turn this object's color to red. This is the first thing I'm going to do. So I've emailed the script before. Let me just copy and paste. Yeah, this one. So I'll do one thing. I'm going to create a script here to change the color, and I'll give it a name. It should be JavaScript change color, and I press enter. It should open the error for me. In that script, I will write the code to change the color of this object, of basically any object, to red. And then when I drag and drop that script on this object in the project hierarchy, then is when it will be applying the behavior or the code in the script to this guy, whoever I apply this on. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'll remove the start and I'll paste this here. So, yeah, so this is my simple script which just does one thing. It changes the color to red. So now let's save this. Yeah, so now this guy is saved, and I drag and drop this to both. So the first thing we have done is we have created a script and we've dragged and dropped it onto the board. Okay, now if there's any error, let's complete this, and then whichever error is there we can handle it. Let's see if the script is here. It hasn't been here, so drag and drop this on board and just make sure it comes here on board. Okay, yes, it's here. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to assign camera to this guy, to this board. So how I'm going to do is, there's a smooth follow script, so make sure you click on smooth follow script and then drag and drop it to the main camera, not to the board. Drag and drop it to the main camera, and make sure when you click on main camera you can see the main smooth follow script, and the target you assign this smooth follow script to the board. So this will bind the camera and board together, and yeah, so this will bind the camera and the board together. So now I have two scripts working in my project. One is the smooth follow, which should follow the board whenever I play the game, and the second one is the changing color. Cool. Okay, so that's all I've done. So let's play this. So you can now see there are two things working. Now I have my excuse me, smooth follow script working, which is having the camera follow the board, and second thing is the R button. As soon as I press the R button, it will change the color of this object to board. So if you want to examine the script again, what all it does is it changes the game object's rendered material color to red whenever the R button on keyboard is pressed. That's all it does. Okay. Secondly, I notice when I play the game, the top of the board appears like a silhouette, very black. So this is what I'm going to eliminate. I'll add a directional light over it so I can see something very not very dark. So what I'm going to do is create a directional light, and I'll position it such that it actually is on the board. Okay, so yeah, yes, that's better. So the directional light seems to be working for me. Next thing I'm going to do is now I'll write another script so that I can control the movement of this object by creating a new JavaScript and change position or any other name you like, and copy and paste the same code which I've given to you before in the class. And let me also do a little bit of explanation of the code, and also maybe I'll try modifying the code so you can understand what it exactly is. Change position is currently empty. So this is the same code which we have seen in the class. The first thing does one thing, it pushes the object, it adds force. It's like pushing the object somewhere towards which way? Forward into 10. Now I'd like to control the speed by using the speed variable, which I have just started to use over here. So I've declared this over here. I'd like to use it also in my force. What is the speed with which this guy or this boat or whatever object I apply the script on should move? So I'll write to do that, input dot get axis, um, vertical, and speed. So this is what I'm going to do. This is going to control the speed of the object I apply the script on. And this is going to control the speed of turning speed of the object I apply the script on, and this is going to control the reverse speed. I'm not using this as of now, but I can also use this, but let's, for the sake of simplicity, only use these two variables, speed and turning, in my script. So the first line, what it says is push the object forward the speed 2. The second line, what it says is rotate the object the turning speed 15. Or let's keep this variable, whatever the variable values are, with the specified turning speed. Okay. So now I've saved this and I've not used this anywhere yet. So what I'm going to do is I've got this script and hopefully there should be no errors. Yeah. So I'm going to apply this script on my boat. So you click on boat. Now you would see I have this change position script and I have these variables 2 and 15. This, we are using only these two speed and turning. Now notice the variables. The reason I can see this over here is, apart from the script, I can modify these variables over here in this panel also. And one good reason, one of the main benefit of this feature is I can apply this change position script on many other objects. And I can control the variables differently, and I can change the variables. I can have them different values across different objects, but the script will be the same. It won't change. So after it has been created, compiled, I can apply this on different objects and I can change the variables from here. So I have a boat and it has a change color and a change position script over it. Now let's try playing it and see what happens. Yeah, so the main camera smooth follow script is working, the red script is working, and now if I press W or S, it should also move forward or go back. So now the rotate is working. If you can see this, I can rotate this guy, and my W or S or forward or backward is not working. Let's check why. Okay, so the key is to disable kinematic over here. Sometimes it works for someone, sometimes it doesn't. So let's make sure that you use these two options. If it's working for you, fine, but if it's not, then when the objects are floating, these two settings, they do matter. So if it's not working with you, so just try toggling this radio button, this checkbox, and then hopefully it should work. So now my script is moving this forward, moving this back also, and also rotating this through my keys and changing the color. The next thing I'm going to try to do is go to the variable and change it, the turning from 15 to 1.5 or only 2 if the floats are not allowed. Change the reverse speed to 5 and the forward speed to also, or maybe 10. So just to see how these variables work, because we've been using them in our scripts. So my forward is increased, my back is also increased, and my rotation is decreased, the speed of my rotation. So hopefully this should now help you come across the problems which you may have faced in the first lesson, which I gave for the scripting. So if there are any still issues, just let me know. Thank you.